Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Secretary Rivera. Thank you very much for being here. Looking forward to the discussion and working with you. I do have a specific question about one of your line items, but before I do that, I want to say that I have some real serious concerns about the details of the funding plan that's before us. I need a much better understanding of how where the winners and losers are going to be. At first blush, it appears to me that all of the districts in my school districts in my legislative district are losers when you take the property tax relief that's proposed and weigh that against the increases in the sales tax and the PIT. In fact, the numbers that I've seen suggest that one of my districts, the other CV, you were referring to Conestoga Valley, I'm referring to Cumberland Valley, they get about $6 million of property tax relief, and they pay about $32 million additional in PIT and sales tax. So I'm going to need to work with you and learn more about how that's ever going to be acceptable to the people that I represent. In fact, the numbers that I've seen suggest that every school district in Cumberland County comes out a net loser when you weigh the property tax relief against the increase in the other taxes that are proposed. I do have one question about that, though. When you say it's the goal of the administration to increase the state share of funding for school districts to 50%, you mean on the aggregate. You don't mean every school district. Am I correct?
The formulas that we looked at are on the aggregate.
Yeah, because my districts get somewhere between 15 and 25% state funding, and they're paying the rest of it with local share. And I don't want them to misunderstand that the goal of the administration is to get those districts to 50%. But the specific line item I want to ask you about, and to my colleagues on the Appropriations Committee, they're used to me asking this question because something needs to be fixed, and we haven't been able to fix it the past few years, so we've been sort of band-aiding this. From your previous work, you're probably familiar with at least some of the 4 state-chartered schools for the deaf and blind, specifically Pennsylvania School for the Deaf and the Overlook School for the Blind in Philadelphia, and then the Western Pennsylvania School for the Deaf and the Blind, and they include the former Scranton School for the Deaf in their services. These schools are very specialized, and they're mission-driven, and they're just terrific schools. And if you haven't visited them, I'll take the liberty of, on their behalf, inviting you and even inviting myself to accompany if you'd like to see any or all of these schools, because I think you'll be very impressed. The problem that they have, though, is that they don't have a tax base. They can't raise taxes. So in the past couple budgets, they've been really challenged with their pension cost increases because their teachers are part of the state system. But they have no ability to increase taxes or do something to accompany or to cover their pension costs. So we've been able to just increase the appropriation in an amount equal to their increased pension costs the past couple years. I noticed that there is an increase proposed for those schools this year, but it's not that increase. The $972,000, I believe, is simply a formula-driven increase based on the increase in special ed funding that was accomplished last year. They've gone for a long time with any increase in the special education formula. So I would just ask you, if you're familiar with the schools, you want to talk about that a little bit, but I would like to ask the administration to take another look at that line item to make sure that they don't just get the formula-driven modest increase of $972, but that we get them the additional money that they will need. And it's about $1 million to cover collectively the increased pension costs of those 4 institutions.
So the proposal, just looking at it quickly, so we're proposing a $972,000 increase, which constitutes around a 2.3% increase. However, what you're sharing specifically, it doesn't cover the cost of their pension obligation.
Right. My understanding is that when the special education funding line item increases, there's a formula that drives that out to the schools, including these 4 schools. And the 972 only includes the formula-driven aspect of that increase. So there's another $1 million that needs to get in there just to make those 4 schools whole.
First, I'll take you up on both offers. One, I'd love to visit, and
Good.
if we're available, we can do that together. Secondly, let's engage in the conversation to make sure we've not missed something.
Okay. Thank you very much. And, Mr. Chairman, if there is a round two, I'd like to have a question on pre-K unless my colleagues cover it in round one. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.